speaker is Dr. Meenakshi Anantram, the CEO of Razzmatazz Entertainment Networks, one of the first event companies registered in India about 28 years ago. She has featured with her father in the Limca Book of the World Records for cricket commentary for men's cricket matches. She has played on the national team for cricket and has been on Indian handball squad at the 1982 Asian Games. An acclaimed international scientist, she was a recipient of the Basu Memorial Gold Medal as Outstanding Young Scientist in India and has a doctorate degree in parasitology with her path steering research on fish parasite migration. She was also shortlisted to the Antarctic mission and is one of the few Indians to win the prestigious Obusho Scholarship. An internationally celebrated writer, she has won an award as a writer and initiated many poets into expression. Her articles are recently a book have been published by the Penguin and Partridge. She is an excellent storyteller too. Her book of poems entitled Mariposa will be on the stands soon. National anchor and title holder of the Manoranjani and Andhra Kopila, she has presented a number of celebrities, including the presidents and prime ministers of India. And she has wrote the blueprint for many prestigious festivals, including the prestigious Vishaka Utsav and Festival of the Gopalpur Beach. She has founded an NGO of the Rohit Memorial Trust to spread cancer awareness and also support education for the needy girls, and she is a receiver of many awards of excellence. Dr. Meenakshi and her husband, Dr. Anantram, are the city's only medical clowns and visit terminally ill children to counsel them in the palliation of pain and end of life strength. The couple are also trainers and storytellers. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Dr. Meenakshi Anantram. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Hi, Nafisa. Thank you so much. I should start by saying Sania, and that means hello in your language. For all our friends in Nigeria, he has a big heart and love for me from India. So much of love coming across the borders to people of the same kind of inclination, men and women who make a mark. Isn't that us? 35 long years ago, students, I sat in that same damn seat where you are sitting today, and I listened to these great speakers who would come and tell us stories of their life. Today, I sit on the other side. Life is like a storybook. Each one of us is an author of our own story, and that is the only true story that we will say, the story of our life. So be it today for the Skyline. Skyline University, I congratulate you on this great effort to put together thoughts, experiences, and cognitive ideas so that we can impact young people in the right place at the right time. It's so wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. I am not going to introduce myself or tell you where I have been, but I will tell you how I reached where I reached today, and that is speaking to wonderful people like you. Everybody's story is tellable. Everybody has a story to share. I am a simple woman. When you see me, do you remember your mother? When you look at me, do you remember your favorite auntie? Do you think of your friend who talks too much? Do you think of your sister who's bubbly and effervescent? Do you think of that business person who makes a mark every time she walks into a room of men? Well, I could be that, any of that, and much more. My story is simple. I'm a middle-class girl, born in a quaint little city in a wonderful country called India. India, a land rich in culture and family ties, gave me one of the most beautiful places, my cradle. I was born to very eminent parents. My parents are well known in different fields and walks of life, but I started my life with a handicap. I was a stuttering, stammering girl. Stammering became part of my life till I was 13. I couldn't ever say a full sentence without stammering. And my dear mother would think that I was so brilliant that the thoughts were coming so fast, and that is why I was stammering. Never did I realize that I had a problem. But I met a gentleman at the age of 13, and he turned out to be my guru or teacher who taught me how to get my cognitive thoughts together, streamline them into expression, and lo and behold, your Meenakshi was born on stage at the age of 13. Like you push a child into a swimming pool and they learn to swim, my teacher pushed me onto a stage and asked me to speak. I was 13 years old. I had very low self-esteem. I didn't know who I was. And I was lost in the aura of being a child of these famous parents. Indeed, my parents were wonderfully well-known celebrities. But then the light came on. I was on a dark stage. The only light was on me, and I couldn't see anybody. And suddenly, I felt like a star was born. Girls and boys, I spoke like I'd never done in my life. Those 5 minutes were my game changer. I had arrived as an anchor at the age of 13, and I've never looked back again. Sometimes you and I do not realize the opportunity of the person who holds your hand and pushes you into the water. Watch out for that mentor, because you never know. You might be as lucky as me. So started my journey on stage. Today, so many years later, I have done a lot of things. I was the first woman from my country to be nominated as a scientist to the Antarctic mission. Something that women in my country didn't have an opportunity for earlier because they thought women were very, very, timid, and we couldn't handle the nature, the vagaries of nature in that particular environment. But there I was. Many things have happened, right from being an author to a scientist to representing my country in 2 games, cricket and handball, to being a cricket commentator. My father and I have a Limca Book Award. Even today, we have an unbeaten world record as the only father and daughter to have given running commentary for men's cricket matches together anywhere in the world. Do you think that stammering little girl could have done this? God has been great. Opportunities have come, and thank God that Meenamma could see those things coming to her. Life is never a straight line. Life was so beautiful. Until the age of 16, I was on the playground playing for my country. Later, I made records. I met my husband. We married. By the time I was 21, I had married my best friend and my teacher. And I almost lived in what India would have called Gurukula, where you live with your teacher and you learn about life. I had the most wonderful person to partner me and hold my hand. He allowed me to study further. He allowed me to study beyond the BSc degree. I did my master's, I did my PhD, and I went on to get the gold medal from the university. I was also nominated to study my postdoctoral studies at Stanford University in Berkeley, and I co-authored papers with scientists who went on to win the Nobel Prize for Science. What a wonderful life. I started one of the first event management companies under dire circumstances. There I was, a scientist with 25 international publications, excellent speaking skills, good personality. But the vice chancellor of my university thought I was overqualified for a job in the university. I would have been one of the most brilliant teachers. I know, I was born to teach. But God saved me. That night I went back and decided to do something else. Overnight, the year 1994 was born Razzmatazz, one of the first event management companies in my country, India. This company was born out of the dire need to survive, the dire need, like Darwin would say, to be a better species on your planet. The only thing I knew was science, sports, and of course, the stage. My experience of a 13-year-old girl standing in the arc light in the darkness And when the light came on me, I was the star that came back to me. So it became a razzle-dazzle razzmatazz journey. Razzmatazz was my dream. We started our life by creating ideas for marketing sprees. The relaunch of Coca-Cola, a very major brand in my country, to come back to the country and say, I am back. We painted the town literally red, and razzmatazz had arrived in style. It has been a long 28, 29-year journey. Everything was beautiful. Meenakshi was everywhere. She was making her mark in a man's world. I was still the underdog for all the girls out there. When I walked into the room, I still was the only woman in a room full of men. And I never realized that I was a woman. I never realized that the men were looking at me as something else. I was somebody else. So that was the confidence with which I arrived in that room. I learned to sit at the leadership table. I learned to cooperate and be a part of the decision-making enterprise. And today, Razzmatazz is something to reckon with, a company that has done more than 6,000 events. And your Meenakshi has had the pleasure of presenting 3 Prime Ministers of India, 2 Presidents of India, 8 Chief Ministers, and over 20 Union Ministers. It has been a great honor to stand with the likes of a Mr. Ratan Tata. He's one of the most greatest doyens of this country, my country. He actually walked up to me and shook my hand and said he had never heard somebody speak like me. So can you believe what a stammering little girl would think at that moment? I couldn't move my hand away from that wonderful man. He made me feel that I had lived a full life of great stuff. It was in 2007 when life was so beautiful and I never knew pain. Me, my husband, and my lovely 2 children, along with a lovely mother-in-law, we were enjoying our life to the fullest when God decided to play a game. Our 20-year-old boy was diagnosed positive for a bladder cancer. Imagine a mother and father who had never known pain in their life, somebody who had started tasting success, started living life just then, suddenly a roadblock, and your little baby has terminally cancer. You know your child is going away from your life. We lost our son after 5 months. Rohit made his mark. Our boy was a spark. He was no ordinary child. He had represented India himself. He was a man by himself. He had gone on a voyage of understanding across the oceans and met people and represented his country. But fate would not allow him to have a second innings. Before he turned 22, he went away to heaven on a celestial journey, leaving us, promising him that his story will be told. He will not die in vain. He begged us to hold the hands of parents who are grieving, other cancer patients, little boys and girls. We would see month-old babies dying of cancer. We would see parents not knowing how to handle this. And Anant Ram and I decided this was the course and the fate of our future. So was born the Rohit Memorial Trust. Ladies and gentlemen, at every stage of life, life throws that googly ball at you, isn't it? You should be ready with your cricket bat to hit, otherwise you will be clean bowled. So was born a trust to actually handhold and counsel people on cancer. Rohit's parents were sad. We did not know how to handle and grapple with our pain. It was newfound. His brother did not know what happened to his best friend. So we decided. Our Rohit Memorial Trust was launched with a bang. We decided to actually celebrate our child's life and not cry for him. We do rock shows, Rohit Rocks, every other year. We do events where we have happiness, we have laughter, because our child was happiness and laughter. So the event manager and me stepped in and we became event planners for NGO. We raised funds. The trust has many projects and it's very serious business. 40,000 young girls from tribal areas have been handheld by us in the Gyan Lakshmi project that we have. Sanitary napkins have been given to areas where many people did not know how to use a sanitary napkin. In India, people are so poor They would rather buy 2 eggs for 20 rupees than a packet of sanitary napkins to protect themselves during their menstrual cycle. They would rather use old cloth. Some people use ash, some people use leaves just to get tied over and win 20 rupees for their family. To such a circumstances, we were very useful. We actually found donors to help us. We created platforms where we created the napkins with the help of disabled women, giving them work, going to the tribals, going to schools, going to little children and talking to them about cervical cancer and how important menstrual hygiene was. 2 years, such a beautiful campaign. Many good people stepped in. Some social workers joined us, they took us seriously, and we did a fabulous job. We spread happiness. We had books and publications on cancer. Many doctors, they gave chemotherapy to their patients, but they never told them the side effects. Our son suffered that. Lack of knowledge of what to expect once you're given chemotherapy. So we made books, publications. We went around giving free books to parents grieving, to patients, to hospital authorities, so that at least one patient could read and understand what was happening to them. Why was the chemo making them think or behave the way they did? This was such a beautiful thing that our son did. He taught us to be strong. In other patients, we found each patient to be like our child. We found so many boys like him. Rohit lives on forever. 3 years ago, Anant Ram and I decided to do a little more, to do what we like to do. Both of us are happy people. We wanted people to be happy around us. So we started the Mumpy and the Bonji show. Yes, Rohit's parents today are medical clowns, girls and boys. This is the most beautiful thing that we do. I might have won so many awards. I might have written so many books. I might have spoken at so many platforms and impacted minds. But when I stop and tell people that I am a medical clown, I immediately see people look at me with pride. And I know right now you are looking at me and you're applauding for me. Yes, we dress up as clowns. We disrobe the ego. We remove these fancy clothes. We get into the skin of a clown. We wear the wig of the clown, the nose of the clown, the makeup of the clown. And the minute that happens, we transform into the clown. A clown, a joker, is a very happy person. We go to hospitals. We sit with terminally ill little children who basically mostly have cancers. We talk to them, we play with them, we give them gifts. But our focus is not the child. Our focus is on the two parents who stand behind them. Because we know that behind every cancer patient, there is a family that is grieving. There are parents who are not willing to say goodbye. There are parents who are in denial, like us, parents who do not know that their child will die and how will they live after that. So that is the story of your Meenakshi Anantram. I still remain an event manager. Our son, Rahul, our younger boy, has stepped into my shoes and allowed me to take the journey forward in other essences. I write books. My book, Selavi, was a bestseller in London. It was on the forum. I did pretty good. My second book is Mariposa, a book of poems. Very soon, Meenakshi will have a YouTube channel, The Meenamma Show, where I will discuss everything. I am that middle-aged auntie, remember? Your favorite auntie who refuses to grow old. I will talk about things that are old and young. I will talk about the millennials with authority because with the millennial that I have given birth to, I have worked and lived and loved the way a millennial thought. So we are the millennial generation parents. We have also grown. We compete with you. I know how to handle internet as well as you. My mother never knew that. We are a new generation of parents. And we will come back to you and give you what you need, a partner. And age will never exist between us. I am Meenakshi Murugesh Anantram. I am a simple woman with an extraordinary story. I'm here because once I heard about a janitor in the NASA program. Once, President John F. Kennedy went to visit the NASA program. He was shown around to all the important people. He saw a janitor cleaning the toilet area. in such a beautiful manner. So he walked up the janitor and asked him, "Hey, what are you doing?" The janitor looked up to him and said, "Mr. President, it's so wonderful that you are here. Well, I am actually helping man get to the moon." For a moment, the president didn't know what happened to him. Even a janitor polishing the floors of the NASA Academy is helpful. Every one of us does our role in putting man on the moon. The man on the moon might be a scientist's fabrication, or somebody has thought about putting him there. But if I was not there cleaning those toilets or getting my set ready, where would the man be on the moon? That janitor is my inspiration. I want to be like him. For all the girls out there, remember, there are some beautiful things you have to learn. Maybe from my life. We had this beautiful lady, Professor Rabia. What a wonderful life she has led. Really a physicist beyond eminence. What a wonderful woman. She's done wonderfully well, and I'm so proud that I speak after this lady. But I must tell you 3 things that I have learned, girls. Women are the most underestimated of human creations. The world is 14 billion years old. Planet Earth is 3 billion years old. The human race is 70,000 years old. Cognitive man is 12,000 years old. But scientific man is only 500 years old. But even now, scientific man sees the difference between man and woman. We might talk of gender inequality, but we still live in a world where we ourselves have done it, made others think that we are weak. Don't do that. Stand up. In every woman lives a man. Wo man. Every time we men now pause, there is a man in that men. Every time we menstruate, there is men in a woman. Whatever we do, men and women are together, and we will be equal for the world to see, for us to take on and tell the story. Please learn, girls, especially girls. In your country also you have discrimination at different levels. Learn to sit at the table. When you walk into a room, don't be fidgety. Don't have low self-esteem. If you see a table, grab your seat and sit there. Be the leader. Let the men sit after you. Not just out of courtesy, but out of the fact that you can also be as equal, if not better than them. Learn this. Never lean in. Always learn to be the leader when you enter a room. Whether you're a businesswoman or a married woman or just somebody on the road, when you walk in, people should say, "Wow, there is that little girl from the Skyline University. What a personality she has. What a woman." Also, make your life partner your real life partner. Don't just fall in love with a guy because you love him or he looks so wonderful. Make sure he knows you and he will live with you for the right values. Your partner should be a real partner. Like mine, I was lucky. Go find them. They're very rare. But when that partner comes knocking, look into his eyes and see whether you can see yourself in those eyes. It is only then that you will live in peace as a woman in a man's world. Most importantly, many women leave the workforce. And I would say that's only because of our maternity problems or because, we are the home carers. If a child falls ill, it's not the father, mostly the mother who's called to tend onto the child, isn't it? So we are important, but that doesn't mean that we should leave before we should leave. Some girls do not take up prime jobs because they say, "Oh my God, I cannot become this person because the next 3 years I will be pregnant and then I'll have a child and then I won't be able to work." You can work around it. Corporates are being kind. Men are being kind. The micro niches, the environments are being created for all of us to rock our cradles and rock the world, rule the world. So take advantage. Be another Meenakshi. Dream. Because when I dream, I don't wake up to think that I had dreamt. I wake up to make my dream come alive. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to me. I'm just a simple woman, but remember, all of us simple people make this world such a completely beautiful, complex period. Be there. When the big bang happens again, let people say, "That boy, that girl from Skyline University touched the sky and the stars and made such a difference." Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you so much.